I was once at my neighborhood drugstore, and I was buying a pregnancy test, and I ran into my boyfriend's mom, which is about as bad as it sounds. It was very embarrassing. Dropped the test, and I ran, and I called Jamie in tears. And that moment so quickly went from a, oh my God, that was terrible, to, oh my God, there's an opportunity here. We realized that buying products like pregnancy tests was uncomfortable, but the problem was so much bigger than that and expanded so much beyond just pregnancy tests.
Stix is a direct-to-consumer women's health brand that sells at-home yeast infection, pregnancy, and UTI tests. Founded in 2019 by Cynthia Plotch and Jamie Norwood, both co-founders' experiences with women's health products helped seed the idea for Stix.
When we started, it was late 2018, which was kind of the heyday of all these direct-to-consumer brands. You're getting served with Instagram ads everywhere you look, and Cynthia and I were talking a lot about pregnancy tests. She had this really bad experience, and we realized that there wasn't a brand that really spoke to people like us, and direct-to-consumer was something that we had experience in, and we kind of knew the playbook and how to do it. So we started with just a pregnancy test, and it's become so much more since then.
We realized the amount of products that women need but dread buying. And then even beyond that, there's all of these problems that are specific to a woman's health, but that were never actually talked about. No sex ed or health class ever teaches you about what normal or abnormal vaginal discharge is. And we had this big opportunity to help women understand what's going on in their body and provide them what they need to actually make it better.
And they've struck a nerve. Stix's revenue increased by about 88% year over year in 2021, and they also expanded their team and closed a $3.5 million seed round in April. But investors weren't initially receptive to the founders' pitch.
For context, we got 200 rejections our first time out raising money. It was rough. We are two women, and that makes it hard to raise capital in general from traditional capital sources like angel investors or venture capital. But then beyond that, we're solving this problem that 99% of the people on the other side of the table have never actually dealt with before. Venture capitalists and investors are largely men who have never had a UTI or have never experienced what it feels like to buy a pregnancy test and all of the complicated emotions that can come along with that.
In a normal investor meeting, you can sit down, quickly explain the problem, and then get to the business model and why it can really scale. But for us, we were spending most of these meetings just explaining what we were doing. And we got a lot of well, my daughter wouldn't use that, or my wife thinks this is a bad idea, and we're shut down a lot. One of my favorite anecdotes is a male investor asked me if all women ovulate on the same day every month. That just goes to show the amount of time we have to go to explain what we're doing. However, it was more about finding the right people and learning that in those earlier days, we only had, as much traction as you could have after a few months. When we went to go raise our seed round after a little over a year of being in business, it was night and day. We had maybe 15 conversations instead of 200, and we were able to close that round in a matter of weeks.
Jamie and I have always known that what we're building is meaningful and it's important, and that sometimes people aren't going to understand what this is, and that's okay because there's still something really great here. And so having that confidence and going into a room with that confidence has meant that we now work with people who are aligned with what we are building and what we're doing and who want to be a part of that journey. And yeah, Stix isn't right for everybody, but for some people, we're pretty freaking awesome.
Both Cynthia and Jamie attribute the success to their close relationship with their customers, and they say they look at what their customers are saying to guide their products and offerings. One way they maintain their relationship with customers is through their Real Talk platform, a medically backed sexual health editorial resource produced by Stix. The Real Talk covers everything from what to know before taking a pregnancy test to how to deal with infertility issues.
Real Talk is one of our favorite parts of Stix and something that I'm really passionate about. And it came about because back in the earliest days of Stix, when we were doing maybe 10 orders a day, Cynthia and I were answering all the customer service emails, and people had a lot of questions, not just about our products, but about their bodies and their health. And that combined with our own experiences, we just knew that there was something more there. So we were working from a coffee shop in Philly one day, and I just started writing some blog posts. I think wrote one about irregular periods and taking pregnancy tests, how your cycle influences your sex drive, just a bunch of things that I had probably Googled before for myself. and wrote these blog posts, put them up on our website, kind of forgot about them, and we saw our website traffic increase a lot.
And so we realized, holy crud, there's this really big gap. We knew there was this gap when it came to products and experiences, and that, to be quite frank, sucks for people. But what we hadn't realized, and we were learning really quickly, is there's this big gap when it comes to education too. Health literacy in this country also is pretty abysmal, and so much of that stems from the way our health education and our sex education system are set up. In the US, half of states don't even require sex ed to be medically accurate, which means you can, in that classroom, say whatever information you want. And that causes this huge issue. And so once we realized the magnitude of the problem, we realized we have the ability to help women not just get these products and have better experiences with them, but understand truly what's going on in their body and take control and be empowered to make their own decisions.
And since then, it's just been this really crucial element of what we do and what makes us different. Now we have a whole team of writers and medical reviewers, and we just hired our first full-time copy and editorial manager. So it's come a long way.